With everything going on currently, campus is almost unrecognisable from previous years, and the Students' Union here is no exception. So what will Freshers look like this year?
Very different from previous years, but I hope, as a presidential promise, that it will be just as good. So the timetable of activities that we've set when it comes to Freshers Week are all COVID compliant, and we've had to chop and change them as new government guidelines have come out.
But it's not just the Students' Union that's making changes to keep campus safe. Halls are a huge part of the Loughborough experience, and the university are making many changes to make them COVID secure.
So halls of residence are returning over the coming days. Students in halls will be part of a household, and those households will be based around shared kitchens or shared bathrooms, and those households will be able to socialise amongst themselves without social distancing. But when they mix with other households across the hall, then they'll have to practice social distancing.
So students will be allocated a time slot, and we will be bringing them forward out of the car park in half-hour slots to be able to go into halls. So this is so that we can keep them socially distanced, and we will be temperature testing as well.
Keeping the university open and avoiding a local lockdown is clearly the university's goal, but it requires the whole Loughborough family to play their part.
But with term starting just next week, we thought we would ask the Vice-Chancellor of Teaching, Rachel Thomson, what measures are going to be put in place for teaching on campus.
What we'll be doing is offering 3 different types of activity. So firstly, it'll be the in-person teaching. You know what to expect from that. We will also have some virtual online interactive teaching sessions, and then the third type of sessions that you might have will be what we're calling the on-demand lectures.
We asked the Director of Library Services, Emma Walton, what measures they have in place there.
We have got quite a considerably reduced capacity. So we've got about 450 spaces. Again, like I said, all individual. We've kept them in their spaces though, so silent study will remain silent, the quiet studies downstairs remain quiet, so you've still got that choice of where to go.
So the teaching spaces. Secondly, all the ventilation has been changed to drive fresh air through rather than recirculating. You'll be brought in a particular way, the lecturer will be at a distance, and you'll be required, and your colleagues will be required to wear face coverings.
Loughborough is ranked #1 in the world for sport. It is at the heart of our community, so what I want to find out is, how is a global pandemic affecting our students who want to play sport? In late July we saw the reopening of Holywell Fitness Centre, and slowly we have seen the reopening of Powerbase too. The difference this year is that you have to book your time slot on the Loughborough Sport app, and this ensures social distancing within both of the fitness centres. This app is also being used within AU clubs for training and competition, and is also being used for IMS throughout the year.
So I can confirm that IMS will be happening this year. We will be taking part in sport both indoors and outdoors, which is really good news.
AU clubs are back and trying their best to be better than ever. But what exactly has been going on?
I think to kind of summarise the answer to your question, I would say that our coaches and volunteers have massively stepped their game up with regards to their response to coronavirus.
And with the situation of the last 6 months, we've been working on a number of levels. So we've been working with DCMS, the English Institute of Sport, UK Sport, around the return to training, which was all about elite sport. So we worked with them about developing their policy for the country, and we were the first pool to open, other things we were the first to open. So we were part of creating that, and then of course we had to apply it to our situation here at Loughborough.
My one big welcome message is you're now members of the Loughborough family. We've got to live slightly differently, but you're no different to any other year. Look after yourselves and behave in a way that looks after the community, and we'll be able to get into term and all both work hard and play hard.
I'm Ollie, I'm from Bournemouth.
I'm Tabs from Surrey.
I'm Elle and I'm from uni. I'm Fleur from Bath.
So has it been a bit of a shock though, that it's only been, 2 or 3 days you've been here in Loughborough now and you're straight into self-isolation?
It was a little bit of a shock because none of us have really done anything.
So we've heard how the Tier 2 lockdown restrictions are going to be impacting the university, but how will they impact the wider town? We spoke to Jonathan Morgan, the leader for the Charnwood Borough Council.
This is very much about making sure that people take more care about what they actually do. In practical terms, it's about no indoor mixing for inter-household groups. in any situation at all. So that's whether it's actually in your own home or within a pub or a restaurant or anywhere else. The regulations are on the council's website. I'm sure they're on the university's website as well, and they're also on the main government website. If anyone's in any doubt at all about what they should or shouldn't be doing, please check before you do it, because there are now heavy fines that come with not following the rules.
With Christmas rapidly coming, Buble defrosting, but coronavirus cases remaining at an all-time high, the government has recently initiated new guidelines for mass testing across all universities. From the end of November, students can be tested for coronavirus to ensure that they return home safely over the Christmas period.
Yeah, so if a student wants an asymptomatic test, they log on to Connect and Protect just as they've done previously. Then they'll be guided to one of the testing booths, so there'll be a couple of people there who will guide them to an empty testing booth, check that they know how to self-swab. Once the student is self-swabbed, while they're doing that, the tester puts a little bit of extraction fluid into a tube, passes that through the hatch, the student puts their swab into that tube, and the hatch comes back to the tester.
The important point that we've made to our students is that if you have a positive test, you have to isolate under the legislation, not the university rules, under the legislation for 10 days. So it's really important that students don't leave it too late to return to Christmas.
Last week, the Prime Minister announced that from the 12th of April, the next phase of restrictions lifting will go ahead as planned. This means that non-essential hospitality such as shops, gyms, hairdressers and pubs will be open. But what does this mean for students here at Loughborough University?
We are still waiting for the renewed guidance from government. We hope we will be able to offer that. If it isn't the case, we will have to offer classroom-based teaching online to those students.
What's going to happen in terms of graduation?
The university have, of course, already released dates for graduations, and they'll be happening over a 2-week period, which means there will be hundreds and thousands of students all graduating at the same time, which means it will be really busy for the Students' Union.
So whilst the government is remaining cautious about the next phase of restrictions lifting and is reminding us to not become complacent, this next phase will allow students to return back to activities in a safe manner and let us enjoy what Loughborough Uni and the surrounding community has to offer. You mentioned in your live reveal last night that Loughborough has become a home away from home. Is that something that you're trying to include again in your manifesto this year?
Absolutely. I mean, that concept of home away from home was certainly very true for me, but sadly might not be true for everyone. So I think it's really important that we, both as an organisation, Loughborough Students' Union, but also as individuals who will be elected to represent students, we are making a collaborative effort to go, do you know what, it's not 100% perfect for everybody here. So we need to be making a proper effort to make sure that it is everybody's home away from home, and to understand that that process takes time, but we need to start doing it now. We need to start making changes now so that it's better in the future.
Here we go, 7% of students have voted so far. That's over 1,000 votes. Now look at some rankings. We're going to start with Halls votes now. Right at the bottom there, leading the way with 144 is Faraday. Now right at the bottom there, leading the way again is School of Sport, Exercise and Health Science, 282. We actually have a very special treat for you. We have got some exit polls. So let's start with Action. So Jodie Evans and Ron there. Jodie Evans leading the way on 83%.
Under the first past the post system, the candidate with the most votes wins, even if all the other candidates' votes combined are more than 50%. However, under STV, it all starts with a quota. The quota is 50% of the total votes cast plus 1.
130 votes. Gabo, you received 653 votes. Freya, you received 1,397 votes. Freya, in the first round, you exceeded quota and are duly elected as LSU's president. Congratulations.
Congratulations, you are now the next president here at LSU. How do you feel?
So happy. I'm going to go over there and cry when I get back to my campaign team, but I'm honestly so relieved and so happy, and I can't thank everyone else enough.
Well, there you go. There are your results for the Student Executive Elections 2021.
Okay, so you can see that it is all descended into chaos here. But from all of us at LSU Media, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next year at next year's results show.